It is well, It really doesn't matter what you're going through. It is well. Listen, if you worry about the problems and you carry, can you resolve? You cannot. So just give it out to God and let Him do it. And enjoy your life. Take it easy. So good morning. If you're just joining us and you're wondering, what are these people going on about?
Concept, TV, no.
It's not like we don't have problems, though, but, well, the problems, we can't resolve the problems.
I mean, even if you are an Article 71 office holder, your problems are but how you go do them. You go take them so. After all, the benefits today.
Yeah. So, challenge CD. So let's do the newspapers. The Ghanaian Times, the Daily Guide, Public Press, the Inquisitor. Okay.
The Inquisitor is inquisitive.
And the final newspaper. Those are the papers that I'll be reviewing this morning.
I'll do the Daily Graphic, the Finder, the Daily Dispatch, the Daily Statesman. That's a lot of dailies. Today newspaper and the Custodian. Those are the papers I'll be looking at. I'll start with the Daily Graphic. It says Article 71 brouhaha. Yeah, Article 71 brouhaha. Experts demand national dialogue, kick against recommendations for first and second ladies. We've heard from the TUC in recent times on related grounds. That's a story that I'll be delving into. Yesterday, when we had the former MP for Mion together with the Member of Parliament, Karen for Old Tafo, I noticed the banter between them about allowances, which we've had since the Rawlings era, by the way. And this has been some sort of convention, not a law, so to speak. And all first ladies, first and second ladies, appear to have benefited versus a salary fixed, which then the former member of Parliament for Mion was saying would be illegal. And now we've come to the point where both the first and second ladies have said, Sikano cry and pay allowance, backdate. But you know the new twist. Now the NDC is saying that they must prove the sources of funding, that the First Lady, for example, through the GNPC and other institutions, has got a whole lot of cash that she's used for different things. But how do we know that these sums of money, so to speak, to put it in these words, are not robbing Peter to pay Paul? In other words, are not from coffers that are public anyway being shifted into other public coffers. I feel sad about the development. I feel our first and second ladies are being nailed, you know, in a certain way. But on the other hand, we do want to know, don't we? Because if, like some people have said, do you have almost close to 1 million Ghana cedis just lying around to push into accounts here and there? I've heard of one of her assistants saying that, but she's lived her life. She's lived her life. I mean, if she were in public service, she would have pensioned off by now. She's lived. So she knows what to do. She has her means of finances and all of that. So it's interesting. But for me, as a media person, I'm always interested in the probe and where it ends, just like with the CJ's matter. So it's all in there.
I just think that, you know, we have to stop at some point because we're pushing this a bit too far. And it's just going to get messier and messier along the way. We've all indicated, and I think the majority of people, the reason, the backlash, and then the refund now, the talk was that they're not Article 71 holders, they're not public office holders. And so you can't scrutinize them like you would if they were indeed public service. And I think that we should get it right. And they've refunded. Some people have said, and I think it's legitimate, some people have said the First Lady's statement, for instance, should have indicated that not because of the backlash, but because it is unconstitutional, and just leave it there. I mean, I think such criticisms are fair. But to stretch it and now say
but the allowances
the monies
are not
that you pay back,
unconstitutional, so to speak. They are convention that we've had. The salaries,
yes,
though,
exactly.
those,
you know, but to say that, let's go back
issue.
and see where they got the money for the funding. I mean, she's had her foundation for what? For since she became First Lady, and nobody has said let's look at all the monies. It is now that because this issue has come up. I think we have to stop at some point, and the point is now.
And,
you can
it's important
disagree with the
that
statements.
you say about stopping, because some have also said, okay, so if you want to do this, how about we go back How about Lordina Mahama? And, Emisa Arthur's, Matilda Emisa Arthur.
Yeah.
How about Nana Kunodo Ajuman Rawlings? How about, and if we want to go back, we'll probably go back to,
let's give them a break, because for crying
Teresa
out loud, they didn't
Akufo-Addo
go
and
and put
all
a
of
gun
those
at somebody's head to say, give me an allowance. You get it? And where is the money coming from? It's coming from a certain budget. Is anybody complaining here? The issue that has come up is the salary. Putting them in, if you like, the Article 71 office holders, even though the argument from the other side would say that, no. What we did simply was extending the privileges of the president and vice president, and to now put a name there and say, we're extending, so your wife would get this, that kind of thing. And people have said that is unconstitutional. That's where the conversation is, and I think we should let it remain there.
But what do you think? Look, in different countries, there are different structures, but I've been taking a look at some of the biggest economies in the world, for example. Let's take the biggest, the US. I think it was Ronald Reagan who was questioned on this matter, and he made it categorically clear that his wife earned nothing. If you look at what I think is a Joe Biden is earning, about $400,000 a year, that is that. They have other perks. The wife has other perks, but not a salary. There is no salary for floaters or the First Lady of the United States. No salary. When you look at the biggest economies in the world, at least from my checks, no salary for them. I think we should have just stuck with the convention of an allowance, because when you look at the other end of the script, these First Ladies do a lot that we don't even see. They are engaging in, and to be fair, from Teresa Akufo-Addo to, all of them, from Nana Kunodo, Teresa, and the others, Aliu Muhammad's wife and all of that, they have all taken up social issues that they've been involved in. Lordina had her own thing she was doing. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, especially in the health, the area of health, has done a lot. So why don't we just ensure that they have something to work with, maybe out of the presidential, budget or something of the sort, rather than a hard salary that we are going to give them 32,000, 33,000. I feel that is where the problem is. And I feel that is where some people would feel it is insensitive, because you are bringing it at a time when you are telling public officials, other people in the state, to tighten their belts. How do you think the people would feel? So while I agree that no, they deserve something to work with. People go to them. There are so many things they have to deal with as first and second ladies. But on the other hand, should we have gone for this hard salary structure? I feel that is where the problem is. Yeah. And someone who made this proposal was really not...
So people should stick with the issue and not go around now calling on other people to refund. This one is a choice. So they decided that because of all the talk, that's it. Doesn't mean somebody else should refund. I disagree with that.
Okay, so let's just wrap here. 1.2 million doses of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines coming. The U.S. has been generous enough. We're always on the receiving end. Receiving. 15 million, so I think 5 of them are Johnson & Johnson, 10 million Pfizer. And in Ghana, we're getting 1.2 out of the 10 million Pfizer vaccines. World Bank to release $200 million for Ghana's COVID-19 vaccines. In the middle page, put military brutalities behind you. President urges WA residents. Adra disturbances inquiry. My wife in hiding for telling the truth. That's according to a witness. And on the back page, no show on Tema Industrial Area, Boom Road, 11 months after sod cutting ceremony. But before you get into the Ghanaian Times, Maravi, a very quick one. I just had to do this. You see, yesterday, of course, we were talking about a certain Asin Central Member of Parliament, Kennedy Ohene Ejapon, once more. And I want to highlight this. I have read cases from other countries, stories about people, threatening and all of that. I feel it is totally inept, reprehensible, diabolical, some of the things that have been happening. We saw what happened to Ahmed Hussein Swali. And now, Obi Sandenano Esi Obiso beat him severely. What in hell is that? We did it to one person. Some people went out there and indeed finished off Ahmed Hussein Swali. And here we are, another person for merely doing his work. He did not choose to be there on that day. He did not choose that those things would happen in Idra on that day. He merely did his work as a journalist, and he's being targeted for what? And we can't sit down and turn a blind eye to it, because if it happens to one of us, it happens to the next person, even if the person were not in this media group. I think for this member of parliament, Kennedy Japan, there must be some real control mechanisms in this country. You can't go about threatening people. You can't go about inciting people to go and beat up someone severely. Especially not when you have said same in the past and someone has died as a result and nothing has happened. I don't get this country, Mama V. I am at my wit's end at what some people, sacred cows, can do in this country and get away with it.
So just hold it there. Let me, on the back of that, say that the Multimedia Group as a company has issued a statement where the group is pushing for investigations and protection for Erastus Asari Donko following the threats by the Member of Parliament for Ascent Central, who also chairs the Defense and Interior Committee.
Can you imagine that? The chairperson.
A number of persons and organizations that have received that. We will be keeping you updated in terms of the responses that we receive. The IGP has been petitioned as well. And then there were other allegations as well in terms of monies that some Joy FM staff had allegedly gone to collect. And
we've responded to that as well.
That has also been resolved. In the course of our programming today, we'll share that statement also from our lawyers with you. But let me go through the Ghanaian Times newspaper. On the front page, we've talked about the First Lady's refunding. On the Ejura probe, yesterday there was a witness who talked about seeing the late Kaka being dragged by his own brother. And she says, following that report to the police, she's been receiving death threats. We've talked about the COVID vaccine situation. Well, Dr. Ampon Sachiano says that 1.2 million of the vaccines would be in the country next week. Ghana World Bank signed $200 million agreement to procure 20 million vaccines storage facilities. Also another story in the paper. And then residents of Yeji and its environs in the Pru East districts of the Bono East region say they are living in fear as a result of the growing armed robbery cases in the area. It used to be a constant feature on the Yeji, Prang Atebu highways, but it's even escalated. So it's gotten worse. So the paper is highlighting that situation. On page 3, the Supreme Court will on July 28 deliver ruling in the case in which Dr. Stephen Kwabena Oponing, a former chief executive officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, is challenging a decision of the Accra High Court regarding the $27 million alleged financial loss to the state in a fertilizer deal. That big ruling is happening on the 28th of July, towards the end of this month. An accused in the mini trial involving 14 alleged murderers of Major Maxwell Mahama is challenging the status of Mr. Babayaro, an independent witness in the trial. So, Augustine Obuo, lawyer for Kwame Tufuo, told the court presided over by Madam Mariama Owusu, a justice of the Supreme Court sitting in as an additional High Court judge, that Mr. Yaro, who is a witness, was not present when the statement of Tufuo was taken, and he was just called to sign. Interested? Grab the paper and read the rest of the story on page 3. If you look at the back page of the paper, government yesterday took delivery of 16 ultra negative cold chain fridges to store coronavirus disease vaccines. And then experiences of selected women activists recorded in a research have been put together as a documentary to be used as advocacy tool in the country. That's it for the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
Let's check out the finder. Here's what they found. E&I battles government in court tomorrow over unitization directive. And then on page 8, COVID-19, Ghana World Bank sign additional $200 million agreement. And the story says the second additional financing agreement worth $200 million for Ghana's COVID-19 emergency preparedness and response project was signed by the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofri-Atta, in the World Bank in Accra on Tuesday, which is yesterday. And this agreement, signed on behalf of the World Bank by Mr. Pierre Laporte, the country director of the bank, brings to $430 million the support to Ghana's COVID-19 preparedness. We also know in recent times there has been a spike in the cases, and the GMA has complained about ICUs and the pressure on them. President Akufo-Addo apologizes to residents of Wa over military brutalities. I saw Kaka's brother dragging him to the bathroom. That is according to the witness you were speaking about, Mamavi, who is now getting threats. Rebecca Samira refund allowances. They also declined any future allowances. When you go to the middle spread of the paper, SNIT to delete 13,000 names from pensioners' roll. I think we saw this about a day or two ago. 3 jailed, 58 years for robbery, dishonestly receiving. That's it with the Finder newspaper.
All right, let's do Republic Press. On the front page, it says NDC gloats. Ben will love this headline as well. NDC gloats over 5 million CJ saga. No, let me read it properly. NDC gloats over CJ's $5 million saga. They have a way with their headlines.
Republic Press.
Yes.
The headlines.
Okay, so the opposition NDC is gloating over the $5 million bribery scandal involving a Kumasi-based lawyer, Kwesi Afrifa, and his clients, which landed on the doorstep of the Chief Justice, Akwesi Enim Yeboah. Although the Chief Justice is not directly connected to the scandal, the NDC is asking him to step aside to enable proper investigation to be conducted into the allegations against him. There was a briefing yesterday by the General Secretary. Details of that is in the paper. TUC kicks against salaries for spouses of presidents. Well, they have listened, right? And they have refunded, or they are refunding. Some teachers demand resignation of NAT leadership over promotion exams failures. And yeah, basically, those are the stories to share on the front page of the paper.
Let's check out the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Ghanaians have not been fair to first and second ladies. That's according to Professor Ajimandia. Story on page 2 of the paper. You can find out what the president told the NAT executives on page 11 of the Daily Dispatch. And then motorcycles accounted for 45% of 1,454 deaths between January and June 2021. Story on page 12. I think this motorcycle thing is getting out of hand. It's becoming a big scare. You know, when I'm crossing the road, and I always have to be extra careful because I'm looking out for that motorbike that could be speeding.
Sometimes
and they knock you down and that's it.
Sometimes you actually don't see them coming. They suddenly appear.
No, that's the thing. So even when I've got the car, you know, sometimes we signal the car to stop because you likely don't see them. You just, before you realize it, they are upon you.
Yeah. Yeah, happens a lot.
Osa Mankwa appeals to the youth bear with Akufo-Addo government. In the center spread, actually, we have pupils forced to study in frail bamboo structures amidst lack of furniture. That's the Playo MA Primary School in the eastern region. And then drivers, residents of Somanya want bumpy road, flood-prone bridge fixed. On the back page, Guta, and I saw this coming. Guta angry with Speaker for saying Parliament will allow Nigerians into Ghana's retail market. Once this came up, yesterday we spoke about it, I knew there would be a response from Guta. We'll see how that pans out. But that's it for the Daily Dispatch newspaper.
Let's do the Daily Guide. Most of the stories you already know, but this one, police intercepts pistol in fried rice.
That woman, she gave him a nursing mother.
So the police are already looking for this 23-year-old that Ben is talking about. She's suspected to be a Nigerian who attempted to smuggle a weapon into police cells. The dude is already in cells.
Just as the situation is now from frying pan right into the fire.
So was she planting something to put on the person who was already in police custody? Or was this for another kind of
So now you would want to find out what was the motive.
Yeah.
Though sometimes the law really doesn't look at motive. But one thing that interests me, right before we get into the story, there was only one cartridge. So the pistol and then one cartridge. And that brings so many things to mind. I mean, was it to aid a suicide? Was it to... There are so many things.
To help him escape.
Was it... Because it's just one cartridge.
Yeah, so... And again,
what was the motive?
There's also the thing. Was she planting some sort of evidence...
On him.
Exactly.
Maybe to implicate him even further.
Yeah. But they say, you know, she fled before she could be arrested. That's why they're looking for him. And this happened last Sunday. The young lady turned up at the station with 2 packs of fried rice bearing the logo of a popular fast food. Packaged food was intended for a certain remand inmate, name given, who is currently at the cantonment cells. And then let's see the center spread. Okay, so center spread, the news one pullout. I will keep my body for God, Moesha, after suicide attempt. So there's been a couple of videos, and yesterday I watched, I think, a particular one that, they're talking about where it is alleged that she attempted committing suicide, and there were some, good Samaritans around there who stopped her, prevented her from doing that, Okay, so a lot of people are talking. People have been talking, but that's the thing. Like when you're a public figure, it really doesn't matter what you do. People would talk, and people will laugh at you. People would accuse you. People will do all sorts of things. So, listen, whatever her move is right now, we pray for strength for her, and it's my prayer that she'll find the right people around her who will help her through what she's going now. All right.
There's been this saying that if you want to please people, listen to everybody, then you might as well say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe good or bad, people will talk about it.
Absolutely.
So you might as well just do what you
in the spotlight, with everything.
Well, it's not surprising. I think she should expect that. I mean, especially look at
but it's hard.
Madam Abozigi, for example, and the Sikagari and everything. Yeah. Now that she says she's moved on, people will talk about it, but it's up to you. Like the Bible says, by their fruit you shall know them. So if you've really converted, if you really mean what you're saying, live it out and don't leave it to people to determine who you are or what you've experienced, basically.
Yeah.
The Daily Statesman says NSS directs stakeholders to make payment through Ghana.gov. A picture there of the hardworking head of that institution. But the other stories have already been mentioned. I'll just make mention of these ones. Phase 2 of Let's Make Accra Work agenda to kick off. The Greater Accra Regional Minister has been talking about the Konkomba market as well, and the moves to relocate them too from Agbogloshi, at least those yam sellers. There's been talk about that, so story, their details there. And then Ghana losing out over ENI Springfield unitization stalemate, and that's according to lawyer Kwame Jantua. His comment comes 2 weeks after a court presided over by Justice Mariama Samu partly agreed with Springfield and ordered that 30% of all revenue accruing to ENI and Vital from exploration and production activities from the Sankofa field be preserved in an interest-bearing account until the substantive case is determined. Then there's also on page 7, female coup plotter, in quote, attempted escaping using seduction.
In Ghana?
Where else? So
the
second prosecution witness, of the in the ongoing coup trial, Major General Peter Nicholas Ando has disclosed that Warrant Officer Class 2 Esther San Dekuwine, a former soldier who is standing trial as one of the accused persons, attempted to escape from lawful custody. And yes, seduction was supposed to be one of those tools in her arsenal she attempted using. I think I'll wrap it there for the Daily Statesman newspaper.
Okay, I'm done with my papers, so you can do the last one.
Yeah, the other papers I have also capture same, so we might as well go to My Joy Online and check out what stories are there.
Yeah.
If we go there, then we can check out what stories are making the headlines.
So whilst we get ready to do My Joy Online, there's something unfolding in South Africa, and if you could look at page 5 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, says at least 30 people. I think last night there was about 45 people who had died in the violence which has been engulfing parts of South Africa since the country's former president Jacob Zuma handed himself into police last week. So almost 800 people have been arrested in the unrest, which began as protests following Zuma's jailing on Thursday, and people are looting. Yesterday I saw pictures of people.
It's terrible.
People are setting fire on garages with vehicles going off and that kind of anger, especially among young supporters of the governing Congress for Democratic Change Party, after a junior minister in the office of the president was videotaped splashing expensive champagne on a luxury vehicle he had reportedly bought for his wife as a birthday gift. You didn't understand?
he shared it on social media.
I don't know if he shared it, but it was a video that was recorded. Now, the anger is because they say this contradicts the principles and ideology on which the party was established. Popping luxurious champagne on air. We'll look for that video and share it
Usually,
later.
and interestingly, another in Cuba, there have been protests there as well, the socialist thing and now the current president and the troubles they are facing. So it appears there's a lot of furore when it comes to some of these issues across different countries. But
yeah.
we'll be getting into more of
the
those.
video is that the car is what? It's an Audi something. Okay, well, tomorrow I'll share the video with you. Hey, all right, before we go, it's a big happy birthday. Akufo-Addo for Sohene. Very happy birthday to you. That's the cute Adoma. Happy birthday to our dearest daughter.
Is that her watching the two of us today? That is us right there. And she's...
Okay, so Adepa is watching. Akufo-Addo for Sohene. I understand she watches every morning. So cutie, happy birthday to you. From Auntie Mama V and Uncle Ben, from Mommy and Daddy, from all your uncles and aunties to you as you celebrate your birthday today.
We pray for more wisdom. Adepa, unima Adepa. That's it. AM show, Adepa. We love you, okay?
Well, thanks for watching. Keep watching because Muftau is going to give us a wrap of events happening in sports.
Yep.
And then today we're talking about agriculture. We're talking about fertilizer. It's supposed to be at a reduced cost, but guess what? A lot of the farmers are not getting the fertilizer. And the allegation is that it's been diverted to the stores. So people, but, it has a great impact on all of us because that's what brings food onto our table. Absolutely. We've got on-the-ground reports to share with you. So stay with us. We've got business also coming up on the show. Stay with us.